Hi Carly. Well, I probably have about 10 goes at this because I've never tried to do anything like this before. Hang on, I'll see if I can zoom out maybe. Yeah, okay. So when I first get my picture, I get a ruler, and you can, with a light board, you can just see through. Without the light board, you're pretty useless, but it makes quite a big difference, as you can see. And you cut very gently with a ruler and a blade in like sections so that you can just peel one section back at a time that you want to work on. But keep the piece of paper, because if you're going away for a while, you're going to want to cover that back up again. Don't use normal paper, it will stick and you will never get it off. So I get that set up, and then I open all my little baggies, and I have these. They're like little Tic Tac containers. They're really, really cheap, and they come in a box like this too, or you can just buy the little containers separately. And on your code, on your painting, you will usually find, especially if you get one of these sheets with it, there is the actual code. There's what they call the DMC number, because every single colour has a number. There's several hundred, as you can see. And over here, it's just simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 blah. So what I do, I take it out of the bag, and using a little mini funnel I've got, or you can make one with a little piece of paper, or the end of your tray will fit into the top of the Tic Tac container. I number all the containers from 1 through to however many numbers there are. I don't use the DMC codes on there, because that way you can reuse these containers for every painting. And just add more stickers if you have to, if there's more colours. So each colour I take out and I number it as per the code over there, like 1, 2, etc., etc. And when I come to do a colour, I will simply peel that off, and I'll try and do one colour at a time, and I might pick N, for example. There's quite a few of them. So I'll go over here, I'll look for the N's, which tells me they're going to be in container 19. I simply take out 19, shuffle, put some into here. It's a good idea to give it a shake first. Tip them into here, give it a shake from side to side, the actual tray, just gently, like that. But never over the top of your painting, preferably over paper, so you can carefully pick up any spills and tip them back in. Now, shuffling them like that makes them land bottom down, so they're much easier to pick up. And then you've already got the wax idea with the pen. I actually bought these, which were really cheap, on AliExpress. They're much easier to use because they've got such a small point. You can get really close and accurately onto the actual spot, and they're just easier to hold because they're chunky. You don't get sore fingers, whatever. What else can I say? Oh yeah, sometimes you might find that when you cut your paper, and remember, you don't have to press it hard. Your canvas is pretty strong, but if you press with a lot of force, you're going to end up cutting your canvas. But see here, for example, I didn't quite cut straight. So I don't want air getting to that. So I use a little bit of what they call washi tape, and I will put it along there. Or alternatively, sometimes you'll find when you've cut it, you've got letters like I have here that are just partially exposed. You don't want that drying out. So I'll take a piece of this tape, and I'll just have to put the phone down somehow for a second. I'll take a piece of the tape, and I'll just create myself a nice perfect line. If I can get this tape to tear straight, that would be really good. Now this is really good tape. It's like paper thin, and it comes off really, really easily. And I put it on very carefully to expose a nice straight line, like that. So now I can work on that top row instead of having other letters partially exposed, which are going to end up drying out. So I'll leave that there because I'm going to do that section today. I can't really think what else to tell you. Oh yeah, when you first get a canvas, it's mostly rolled up, and that is a pain in the neck because it wants to keep rolling itself. So all you do, I wish I had a stand for this phone, it would be so much easier. All you do is you lift a corner of the canvas up and you peel it. God, this is hard to hold the phone and do it at the same time. You peel back just a section of it, and then you very quickly smooth it down nice and flat. You do the same with every corner that is curled up. You simply peel back the section, doesn't have to be much, and smooth it back down again. And you don't have to worry about putting heavy books or anything on there to try and uncurl it. That will automatically make it nice and flat. What else? Definitely this, I think, is my greatest idea. Well, not my idea, but one I found on YouTube. Now, DMC codes, which are these other numbers you'll see, every single colour has a number. And it goes up to 4,000 and something. But there's a gap for some reason between 900 and 3,000. I don't know, go figure. But yeah, I don't write that code on these containers simply because if I simply just write a number, I can just easily use those then for the next painting. I do not throw away any of my spares. I have a separate container with the same system, like the Tic Tac containers, and on those containers I put these stickers, those numbers. So whenever I get more leftovers, I might find myself adding more and more and more of the same number to a container. And it comes in really handy if you're ever missing any drills, if you become addicted like I did, because you've got spares. Also, I found what I did with my last painting, I really didn't like the way, there was some errors, I think, in the code on the actual canvas, which meant some colours just looked like they were in the wrong place completely. So I had to sort of muck around and pick some back off, which is pretty easily done with, I'll just grab these. And I just did a silly mistake, which I told you be careful not to do. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with later. Oh my God, there it goes, see? I accidentally put that paper sheet down and caused chaos. That is going to be a nightmare to get off. Well, there you go. That's not what you don't do. But it will come off eventually with tweezers. In fact, this one might not be so catastrophic. Yeah, actually, I think it probably is going to be. But, you know, the glue is pretty strong. If you have to have a bit of a scratch away at it, it won't really do it any great harm. But anyway, if you have to pick a drill off, because you're not quite happy it's not quite straight, I'll zoom in. Whoa, it's a bit blurry. You just kind of, rather than trying to do it that way, because you can end up slipping and scratching it and everything, try and get a corner. If you, hopefully you've got tweezers like that. Just try and get a corner under it and pick it up and flick it off like that. And then you can use your nails or whatever else you want. You can also use the tweezers to slide them back around a bit if you want to. So they come in really, really handy. There's a lot of other tools I've got that you really don't need. What else? Yeah, when you're finished, you'll always find that you get bits of hair, little bits of wax that you might not have seen, whatever. So when you finished your section, or when you finish for the day, get some kind of brush. I've just got this. Make sure it's not one that the bristles are going to fall out. A lot of people use a toothbrush, which I find is probably a lot easier. Get one with bristles of different lengths, but a decent one that's not going to fall apart. Otherwise, you're just going to add bristles. So when you finish for the day, give it a, not too hard, but a reasonably vigorous brush, like that. Brush away and off to the side. And what else I do, and you can use any old rolling pin, but I got this on eBay for next to nothing. It's a little silicone one. And you simply roll in every direction to make sure they're all nice and flat. And then you're done. People talk about putting books and that on them, but I haven't found I've had to do that. Only in one case, when I got one that was really, really wrinkled. I've had it sitting over over yonder, over there, in a tray for ages with all these books on it. So I better get back to fixing the drama that I told you to make sure you never do. And if you've got any questions, ask away. Bye. Hopefully this works. See ya.